The price is too good, the condition's too great, the location's amazing.
I didn't realize it was St. Patrick's Day until like this afternoon.
That was my introduction, Tommy. That's okay.
Sorry about that.
Now we're going to be talking about the red flags when we're showing a home. Again, that was all part of my introduction of This Week in Real Estate with North Star Pro Realty. And again, I should be clapping or something to get the show on the road, but
well, you just talk so much. I just assumed it was.
yeah. So again, This Week in Real Estate here with North Star Pro Realty. I'm Tyler Reese.
Tyler Lobertman.
And I'm Tom Olson.
Yeah. So we're going to, the topic we've decided today is, red flags during a showing. What do we look for? Because I think arguably we look at houses a lot different than a buyer does and a lot different than a seller does. We just put a different lens on. So, under the guise of, let's paint the picture of we are walking through with a first-time home buyer, and how do we walk through a property? What do we look for?
Right, yeah. Well, did you shut me off again?
Nope.
Just like last time.
That's the cosmos right there.
It's like you ruined my introduction. No, so what I do is, usually we put like our filters on our searches for our buyers and stuff. And so they're looking at the location and the beds and bath and can they see themselves living there. And what I tell my buyers is, hey, you guys go do your thing. I'm going to look for stuff that would make me nervous when I look at a home. Big ticket items. I'm looking for big potential issues in the next 5 to 10 years. I'm looking at the windows, seeing if there's rot around them. So I'm pressing on the sills to see if they're soft. I'm looking at the age of the roof. Do I see any curl coming up on those shingles? Foundation, those types of things. And you guys can expand on that as well. But I'm looking at the stuff that I'm like, hey, if this was my house, what are going to be some big costs in the near future,
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of amazing that we go and look at a house in 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and we're supposed to have a good understanding whether we want to buy this house or not, right? So from the surface, to your point, the client's going through and going, does this flow well? I mean, can I see myself in it, as you're saying? We're snooping under the kitchen sink and stuff like that, right? So basically some of the big red flags are kind of the hidden items, right? Where it's like from the surface, it looks good. Or sometimes it doesn't, but a lot of times it looks good. But
at least you see that it's not good.
Yeah, right. But kind of the things to, A, not have somebody get overly excited about something where it's really a rough house in a good spot or something like that. And then B, just a matter of kind of informing a buyer, especially to your point, Tyler, of being a first-time home buyer. You don't know what you don't know, right? So you don't know to be looking around a window and in underneath the sink and, age of appliances. Like, the house is warm. Why do I care?
Right.
So kind of digging in deeper onto that and just educating our clients into what else to be looking for, as opposed to flying in through the bedrooms. This one's big enough. Bathroom works. Kitchen's nice. And not realizing the kitchen's full of old appliances and it's rotting wood underneath the sink because there's been a leak the whole time, or dishwasher.
Yeah.
Or,
and then you go
fridge.
look at the ceiling in the basement underneath that to see if there's stains on the ceiling of that same water dripping through,
Oh, one of my favorite ones is like, it's 2-story, you're in the living room and all of a sudden you see a water stain up there. I said, I bet you the master bathroom's right above us. Yeah. Or no, it's usually the kids' bathroom.
Yeah. Sure.
I said, I bet you the kids' bathroom is right above us, and I bet you that a kid was splashing or left the water on or anything like that, because that's usually what happens. It usually doesn't indicate a leak. The fact that someone was splashing and just got a little bit kind of crazy. Although we haven't seen any bad leaks lately, that I've seen, but those are usually ones that kind of builds a story of, yep, something did happen there, and let's kind of figure out where the source is. It's not finding the source, or if it's still wet, that's a bigger red flag,
Right.
But usually dry ones, not terribly a big deal.
Yeah, it's funny when that's predictable too. You just see.
Oh, you look like a
I bet.
genius.
Yeah, and sure enough, 9 out of 10 times.
Yep. Another one of my personal favorites is lifting the grates off in the floor for like the heat registers.
Mm-hmm.
Is you can kind of feel in a home. We've been in thousands of homes, so we can kind of feel. You might not have been in thousands, but how a home has been taken care of, and you're like, oh man, this has got some well lived in miles. And I usually kind of just show them, because people forget about this. It's like, hey, why don't you come here and take a look at this? And I'll lift the grate up, and there's, Cheerios and dog hair, just nasty, just really, really gross. I said, this is kind of an indication of how these people lived. It looks okay right now, but it seems like they did a deep scrub before they got ready for the market. And it kind of shows them and said, so we're just going to take a little bit closer look at this to make sure that we're not walking into any unknown issues like that. And again, it's not an intrusive test, because they simply just lift out and you can put them back. It's like opening a closet.
Holes in the floor.
It's like opening a closet door.
So then the next place that I go, if I go and I see that and it's just dog hair caked in there and junk like that, I go down to the furnace and I pull out the furnace filter, and I'm like, when was the last time, and like half the time there isn't a filter sitting in there, and you're just like, ugh, because then, you're wondering, okay, how much debris and junk is just getting tossed into this, the blower motor and all that of the furnace. So
one of my favorite things to see in a house, and it's kind of telling of the overall maintenance and condition, is a chart. And as silly as it is, whether it's Sharpie on the furnace or an actual piece of magnet or whatever, and furnace filter is this date, this date, this date, this date. I'm like, yes, you've been taking care of this. And that's pretty telling of what else is going on, because a lot of people will go, I don't remember when the last time was that I changed my filter, or to your point, maybe there's not even a filter in there, and the amount of fatigue that puts on the furnace is one thing, but just pushing all of that dust and dirt throughout the rest of the house, through everything, including appliances and all of that type of stuff, that's huge.
Yeah. One thing that we often find, and it is in nearly every single inspection report that we see, is negative grade towards the foundation of the house. Mm-hmm. No matter how new the house is, we almost see it on every single one. Not a big deal, but yes, you should be, creating that grade to keep water away from your foundation. Grading and gutters are the two big things to keep water out of your basement. Mm-hmm. But when we see this, or like because the foundation, the soil around it is going to settle. That's just what happens. Yes. A lot of times, like the apron, or where an apron would be in a garage, you're going to see that tar, settle here in Minnesota. Like, oh my goodness, that's really bad. I said, all right, but the fix here is like a 3-foot apron, like the neighbors did right there, and the neighbors did right there, and the neighbors did right there. They just haven't done that yet. So it's easily fixed, and this is an absolutely expected issue. So this isn't out of the norm for a home. It's just knowing something that, it's going to be one of your weekend projects that you're going to have to do if you want this house. It's not abnormal for this house to be doing this.
Yep. Yeah. The other one is, and we've kind of talked about it, but just any water intrusion, you go down to the basement, you're looking around the edges, and you're just seeing, is there evidence of water? Is there evidence of, did a sump pump fail? And, you see like the water line on, whether it's the studs or something like that, you can kind of see if there's been water once, or has this been a continuous issue. Water is absolutely the number one enemy of all houses.
I was going to say in the basement, painted 2x4s.
Yeah.
How come you painted those? You get bored one day?
Well, the shade of that particular white is antimicrobial white.
Yeah. So, and it's stuff you don't pay attention to or notice as you're, again, checking out the rooms and stuff like that. But you were starting to talk on the conversation of the enemy of a house is water and intrusion. It's coming for you, top to bottom, left to right, inside the house, outside the house. The water's coming for you. So those are really easy missed items, but also really easy to see items. Now, some of them are behind the scenes and you can't see them, but
yeah, it definitely tells a story. Yeah. Biggest areas that we do see them are in furnace rooms. Whether it was a sump basket, backup. Was it a laundry tub or a laundry line that broke, or maybe, the washer line that broke? And again, so it can kind of tell a story of where the damage actually is. And again, to be able to kind of look at that, and then you correlate it with the disclosures, you're like, oh, that makes perfect sense.
Yes.
I have found that nearly every single buyer that we've worked with, they don't really care that something happened.
Yes, exactly.
Because you live long enough in a house, something is going to happen. Mm-hmm. But they care that, what did you do to fix it? And has there been any issues since you fixed it?
And did you talk about it in the first place? Or were you trying to hide it, right?
Correct. Those are the biggest things. And again, I grew up in a house that it had water issues. and it's just kind of been, oh, you got to fix this, fix this, fix this. And it's just like, oh man, every time it rains, it's like, oh man, did we get it this time? And again, it was just because Wright County's, built on heavy clay as well. These are just fixes that, mom and dad had to do. So again, it doesn't terribly concern me. Now, I don't want water in my own basement, but anyway, those are the types of things like, yes, that is, let's fix this, this, and this, and go forth with that. Yeah. Being able to tell a story of how it happened is a big deal too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's also important to know what you're kind of looking for by looking at what the disclosures say beforehand and seeing like, hey, this is a 1982 home and there's nothing on the disclosures. And it's
We've owned it the entire time.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go through this with a fine-tooth comb because
something's happened.
I know that this isn't a perfect house, you know, and then you see that maybe there was some evidence of water in the basement, and then you see a sump pump that has a battery backup, and you're like,
oh, that's a big one, a battery backup one. Most people don't have that unless they had a problem at some point.
Or it's like one of those people they just have everything, and you just feel like you have to have it. And you kind of know by walking into a house whether that's a house that had previous problems, and that's why they have the battery backup, or if they just have everything, and that's just part of it. But usually it's because they had a problem.
Do you have a battery backup?
I don't even have a sump pump in my house.
Wow. He likes to live dangerously, folks. Tommy, I know you have one.
If I get if I get water damage up on the hill, I think we're gonna have some bigger problems. But there's pretty substantial grade all around my house. But yeah, I was surprised about year 2 of owning the house. I'm like, you know what? There's not a sump pump in this house.
Do you have a basket?
Nothing.
You don't even have a basket.
Not even a basement.
Is slab on grade?
This is actually slab on grade. I'm sorry. No, it's got a full basement.
Yeah.
No, full basement.
You have gutters?
I had gutters up front the whole time. Put some gutters on the back this year just because it was, again, the negative grade.
I thought you really liked to live dangerous, and I removed them because I didn't have a problem.
Yeah, that's right. They just got full of leaves. No, knock on wood, but we've had good luck with it, and yeah, it's nothing for water damage, and it's been.
You're probably one of the few that is never in Minnesota that's just never had to worry about water, because I feel like if you've got a house that's older than like 1990, like chances are at some point you've had a problem, unless you're way up on it.
I've had water damage. The dishwasher and the fridge have both leaked and caused damage, but not from outside intrusion as far as that goes. So, yeah, I will regret this.
I hope to goodness
I'll regret this podcast someday for sure.
Exactly.
Dang it, Tyler! You talked about it.
Oh man, yeah. What are some other ones? Did we talk about the windowsills? No, we haven't. I like to open windows.
Mm-hmm.
One of those big red flags of does the window actually open? Yeah, that's another. If you can't open it, all right, maybe something's shifting a little bit, or just made a bad DIY. But I like to look in, and it really tells me a story on how they live their life. Now, please don't come into my house and look at my windowsills. But again, if there's little trees growing in there, all right, maybe they haven't been maintaining it as good. And these are all little things. Just keep in mind, this starts your honey-do list, for the first weekend that you're going to live there. It's all about educating and understanding your home. When we walk through with an inspector is, a lot of the inspectors that we work with is just like, definitely come and we'll walk through the property, ask any questions. And this is really just an educational event to say, get to know your home just a little bit, keep this so you can go through the yearly thing of like taking a look at it. All right, do we still have good grade? Yep. Do we have clean gutters? Yep. Do we have screens? Are we doing all of these things? And that's just a really good tool to keep on going back and forth with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to add to that. Way to add to that.
You did great there.
So, another one too is just cracked foundation, cracked driveway, cracked anything that should be solid and is not. We've touched base on a little bit, but you'll have sometimes, and I think it's especially first-time home buyers, but they see the driveway that's cracked or like sinking, like you had mentioned, or a crack in the basement or the garage, and it's like, oh no, I can't buy this house. Like, concrete cracks. It just does that.
Well, and sometimes they put it down in a way where they know where it's going to crack. Sure. They have the stress relief cracks there on purpose.
Yeah, and it's not nothing, right? You got to pay attention to it. But is it shifting and twisting and things like that, or is it just an expansion joint or something like that? Or is there something more to it? And there's professionals that can take a closer look at it too. But that's a huge red flag that people see. That actually isn't really a red flag in a lot of cases.
Yeah, when I see this one, I like to point out, like if you look down in there, sometimes they put like a little nylon string in there. You can actually see where they put it in there because they wanted to crack right where it was,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's in a transition mode. It's like, see, you know, yes, they wanted it to crack right here. That's why they see that little white string in there. That's why it's in there. So
Yeah, and then going back to foundation walls, like you're going to see a lot of block foundation walls in some of the early 2000s homes, and very common that you get cracks in them, whether it's little stair cracks or horizontal cracks, and that doesn't mean that it's not in good structural condition. You want to look to see if there's been any lateral movement, if they've been opening up the other way. There's lateral and this way, but
Not a structural engineer over here.
I really wanted him to continue trying getting that one out.
well, I was really hoping somebody else would
saving
step
you.
in and be like, yeah, this is the word you're looking for.
Yeah, opposite of lateral.
But it doesn't mean that it's not structurally sound. It's just these things crack, and that happens, and there's things that you can do about it to make sure that you're not getting those little Asian beetles coming in all the time.
Yeah. Any other ones that we look at?
There's a lot that we look for.
Yeah.
I would say even just carpet, condition of carpet. Not that it in itself is a problem, but it, again, in our topics of telling of other things, if you get some aggressive stains or amazing wear marks on your carpet, that as agents tells us to look everywhere else, right? Because there's a lot more to someone that doesn't maintain their carpet. And sometimes it makes sense to just leave the carpet and let the next person redo it the way they want to and stuff. But a lot of times if you got 20-year-old carpet that's got a bunch of stains and it's worn out and stuff, if you didn't spend the dollars on that, what else did you not spend the dollars on? And that's where our head really starts to spin in those situations.
Another one I like, which you're talking about carpet, is rugs. Rugs on hardwood floor.
Oh, yes, I love
Rugs
the
on
shades.
hardwood floor with south-facing windows.
Yes.
Dark woods are nice. Like when you pull that up, it's always such a shock. Like, oh my goodness!
Final inspection days are always fun for that.
Exactly. So during a walkthrough,
That's
a showing,
a great point. Yeah.
I pull that up and just saying, hey, yep, this is what happens when you've got sunlight coming through and it's going to fade this. The good thing is you've got real hardwood floor here. You can get them all retreated and stand, all this stuff and everything like that.
Or rug the same size or bigger.
Correct. And to leave the rug there.
Exactly. Often, you will see that sometimes. Like, oh yeah, we left the rug there for you. I'm like, oh. Also, that stain, not even a stain, because I would consider it like sun staining or fading. Lack of fading. But look at what your floors could look like.
Same with pine walls and stuff, where they got all the pictures on the wall of cabins and stuff like that.
Yeah. The nicotine stains. I just saw it was it was horror stories of real estate, and it's just like, oh, when grandma's favorite air freshener was Pall Mall, and like they take all of the pictures off, and it is just like little ghost pictures. And
that was the rental property that I bought in 2020. That we didn't realize that the walls used to be white. We pulled the pictures off, and I took a picture of it and I sent it to my sister, and she thought it was shadows coming in from the windows.
Yeah. So, one other weird one. I mean, if they've made it 18 minutes into this one, you're going to appreciate this one.
Get a hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not that interested.
It is, maybe you'll go out on a deck right there, and then you just kind of see like a melted area on a wall, like vinyl siding.
Yep.
One of two things. Was there a grill there?
Or the neighbor got some windows.
Or the neighbor's window, and it just hits just a reflection just right.
Yep.
It is so weird. I mean, you'll see the ellipsis of where the sun comes in, and it literally melts the siding.
Yes.
It is wild that it is that powerful.
You had mentioned on the deck, one of us here is really good at doing a wiggle test on the deck.
Hint, it's not me.
Or me.
It's me.
It's another one where you see a deck and it can look beautiful or sometimes not, but you go out there and you give it a little shakedown, and some of those decks are like, I'm actually going to carefully step back off of this.
Make sure you're stepping on the joists.
Yeah, and especially in the wintertime, we look at them from inside and not always going out and tromping around out there. But that's something that either A, could have been poorly built, or it's just kind of rotting or wearing out, or just needs some extra bracing. But to your point of a $40,000 deck earlier, that's another thing that we notice a lot, and it's something where you look at it and go, yep, that's nice, I really like that. But to actually go out and check it out and feel it is...
It's $40,000 when you hire it out, but it's a lot cheaper when you do it yourself. You know, and
Yeah,
then you get a YouTube expert. You get a YouTube expert out there doing it.
Or is
it? But yeah, I mean, you want to look at it underneath to see if it was actually built properly, and it's not always done that way, even though it looks pretty.
Yep. One final one is: do you guys look at the electrical panel?
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah,
if it's,
I feel like the answer is correct.
Of course.
Well,
Yes.
I'm gonna hesitate in that answer, or did hesitate in that answer, because if you're walking through it and the house is not something that they're really dialed in on or feeling good about, I don't get into the under the sink and that type of stuff. But if it's getting to a point of like, I really like this house, then yes. So it depends is my answer, right?
Hey, that's the first time we said it at all today.
Look at us.
But so the inspection tag, there's a finished basement. Tyler, you were on an appointment with me one time, and it was a listing appointment. And I go to reach in, and I try. I'm looking for the light switch. This is what this motion means of light switch searching. And I'm like, oh, I find it up here. And I said, hey, did you finish this basement yourself? Yeah. Why? I get a lot of compliments on this. You remember that?
Yes, I very well.
And I said, did you pull a permit? No. How could you tell? I said, light switches aren't where they're supposed to be. And again, then I went to go to the electrical panel. And it wasn't. I was like, well, I did it correctly. I said, well, technically not, but we do have to make sure that this is in the disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
And he properly disclosed it. It was, he didn't pull a permit for this. And again, it went smooth. The buyer bought it, everything like that, but it was properly disclosed. But it's those things that we're looking for, of the telltale signs of, I've seen this go wrong in the past. I see it again. Let's do a little bit more digging to protect this buyer or seller.
Yeah, exactly. Another part of an electrical box visual inspection that I really like to see is, are all of them full? Like, is there any room for doing anything different? Because every next person wants to make their house their own and do this, that, or the other thing, right? So are they completely full? Are you kind of stuck with where you're at, or need to have a big expense on a new panel? And then how many different colors of marker and styles are written on the labels, or are there not any on the labels at all, right? So that stuff is stuff that triggers to look deeper as well. So
you really do just look through the entire house, and you just start painting a picture of who these people were, and you start making guesses and educated guesses on what you're seeing. And sometimes it's helpful, and just to figure out, like, hey, you know what, this is like this for a reason. It's because these people probably did this. And it's like, for future buyers, it's like, it's weird, but you don't have to worry about it because we understand why it's like that. That was very generally explained, but you get the gist.
Again, if you made this 23 minutes in here, thank you. So,
what do we miss?
All of this for the weekly shameless plug of our upcoming buyer webinar is one, we talk about kind of the process, things to avoid, mistakes to avoid, and one, walking you through and educating you on the entire process of buying a home. Mm-hmm. We talk about you'll hear some of these stories too, but go ahead, in the description, you're going to be able to have a link to our next event. So we really appreciate it. And for North Star Pro Realty, I'm Tyler.
I'm Tom.
Tyler as well.
Nice.
Everybody's going to think your last name is as well.
As well. Look it up.